I just bought my first home for £265,000. Oh God, I can tell I'm about to get a bollocking. Hiya. What were you filming my house for? Oh, sorry, it was just for a YouTube video. No, you don't have my permission to film my house. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, please leave now. Yeah, I'm just leaving now. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, that definitely is not my house. There is no way I could ever afford that.
The average house price in the UK has risen more than 1,150% from £19,273 back in the 1980s to now in 2024, where the average house costs nearly £264,000. If you add on top of that, living in one of the most expensive parts of the UK, buying a house in this part of the country is going to be a lot more expensive than your average house price. So with the dream over of owning a 5-bed house with hundreds of acres of private land, a private driveway, tennis courts, a swimming pool, it was time to look for an alternative first home, something that didn't have 5 beds, something that didn't come with tennis courts, and something actually a little bit more realistic for 2 first-time buyers. With a max budget set of 280 grand and a mortgage agreed with the bank, the property search began.
It's this property building here. This is the kitchen. This is communal space here, however, apparently nobody uses it. I think I've gone in the wrong entrance. This is the bedroom.
And after a few months of scouring the internet and property viewings, we found something that ticked a few of our boxes.
So let's try that again. We just bought our first home for £265,000.
And let's just say it's got a few problems that we didn't know about.
I found the leak. Our floor is disintegrating.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh no, that is gross.
Oh my God. What is that?
But before all of that to come in future videos, let me introduce you to flat number 4. It's a 60 square metre, 1-bedroom flat that comes with its own parking, a kitchen, living room, a bathroom, and even its own secret room.
Oh my God. Oh, that's all right.
Flat number 4 didn't start its life as a flat. In fact, this 1900s building has had quite the past life. Over the years, it's been a corn exchange, a tyre fitters, a taxi rank, and then in 2015, it was converted into 5 private apartments, one of which we now call home.
So without further ado, why don't I show you around?
Oh, here we go. This is all very exciting. Behind this door number 4, is our brand new flat. I say brand new, a little bit of context and history about the flat, the building. Remind me, because I'm probably going to forget. This property has been rented out, I think, to the same guy for the last 10 years. We've bought this 1-bed flat for £265,000 down in the south of England where I live. It is very expensive. However, we are a 10-minute walk to the town centre, and we are literally a 30-second walk to a pub and a station. So here we go. This is our new flat, our new project, which we are going to be DIYing and bodging up to make into, hopefully, a wonderful little home for us. Voila! As you come in, you can probably hear it's quite echoey. I thought the door would slam, but it wouldn't. This is the kitchen. Me and Edie, we only looked at 2 properties when we actually were on the house hunt, wasn't it? 2?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Was it 4? Anyway, this one stood out to me the most because of just the amount of natural light coming into the building. So we've got windows on the left-hand side, we've also got windows on the right-hand side, and this is a massive, lovely, open kitchen. My plans were to rip all of this out.
Not happening.
Knock down the wall.
Not happening.
Not happening, I'm not allowed to do that. The great thing about this flat is you could actually walk straight into it, bring your stuff in, and you can live in here quite comfortably. We're not going to do that. We're going to tidy it up a little bit. It needs a new lick of paint, it needs cracks filling in, it needs all of this DIY work that we've never done before, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a fridge, We've got a 4-hob induction hob. We've got an oven.
I don't think it's induction, it's just electric.
Electric. We've got my absolute favourite thing in the world, LED strip lights underneath the cupboards, which of course I'm still going to add more and change and do all this fancy stuff, which I think I can do. One thing we did notice, of course, is that some of the cupboards don't quite line up, so gonna have to probably take all of them down and just play around with the hinges to get all of them nice and level. Everything needs a good clean. It's a little bit dirty, loads of oil and stuff there. One thing as well is some of the paint is flaking off, so we're gonna kind of strip all that and sand it down. One thing we are gonna keep is this granite work surface. The only thing that I noticed yesterday was there is a crack in the granite right there. Not sure why or how that's happened. We will probably, correct me if I'm wrong, have a table here with a bench going on the back wall and then some seats here. We've got a little cupboard in the corner here.
It's the boiler.
Which is the boiler, nothing too exciting. I want to paint the radiators black. Evie won't let me.
Not happening.
It has a fair bit of wear and tear, just loads of kind of marks and scratches and stuff like that, which you would expect when someone's been living and renting in a property. Handprints on the wall, a big kind of, I don't know, coffee or something on the wall there. So a fresh lick of paint should tidy all of that up. Oh, these lights, I hate these lights so much.
Yeah.
I really do not like them at all. Let us know why you think they're boxed in. My dad said yesterday, probably because it's just a concrete.
It was an office building before, so it would have been a concrete floor, so there's no space.
Yeah. So basically, there's probably no space to drill into the ceiling to actually recess your lights. So we'll have to figure out what to do with that. But anyway, that's the kitchen area, the first room that you walk into. I love it, nice and open. Do you like it?
I love it.
So we absolutely love our new kitchen, but you know what we love even more than that? Free beers at Christmas.
Our friends at Beer 52 are getting in the Christmas spirit, and so am I, by the looks of things, by offering you guys a free case of their Christmas extravaganza beers. All you've got to do is head over to www.beer52.com/will and just pay £4.95 for the postage cost of the beers, and then delivered to your door on Christmas Day or before are going to be 8 delicious, unique beers. I've been a member of Beer 52 for the last couple of months now, and I absolutely love it. Every single month I get a different box that arrives with a different selection of beers from across the world. What we've got here is a lager called Happy Pilsner, and it's from Omnipollo, and apparently it's one of the highest rated. Smell it, slurp it. Or is that just wine? But that is absolutely lovely. If you don't like dark beers, then don't worry, because you can actually pick a light case of beers only, or if you like both, you can of course get a mixed case of beers. You also get some delicious little snacks, and there we have some baked pretzels.
You can also learn about all of the fantastic breweries featured in this case with the award-winning Ferment magazine, and even after all of that, if you're still unsatisfied, you can simply pause or cancel at any time.
All you guys need to do is head to www.beer52.com/will. That's beer52.com/will to claim your free case of exclusive beers. Honestly, if you're struggling to know what to get somebody for Christmas and you know they like beer, get them one of these, because it's a winner chicken dinner. As you walk through the kitchen, the living room. Again, lovely and spacious. And another reason why we love this place is windows on both sides. Lots of plenty natural light for my deep, dark, depressive days, but it's just nice. The ceilings as well are super high in here. One thing I need to mention is the floorboards. When we saw this flat a few months ago and various other times coming to visit it, we thought initially that we wanted to sand the floors to try and lighten up the colour. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but it's a little bit yellowy orange.
A little bit, yeah.
It's really not that bad at all. But we need to make sure we do the floors first before we do anything else, before we start bringing furniture and all that stuff in here. Floors was going to be the first job. However, this floor is not a hardwood floor, it is laminate flooring, because I ripped up some carpet and stuff yesterday, and I don't know the thickness of laminate, but basically you can't really sand down laminate flooring and change the colour of it. There is a potential option that if we wanted to lighten up this flooring, you would have to probably paint it. But I've seen some people paint it white. That would just be disgusting and so dirty. I don't know why anyone would ever paint their floor white. What?
No judging.
No judging.
No judging.
No judging.
Judgment free.
Judgment free, it's just not my style. We just wanted to lighten up the wood a little bit to get rid of that orange yellow colour to it. I do love the fact that it's wooden floors, even though it's fake wood laminate.
Isn't it real wood, but it's just...
Well, the top layer is real wood.
Right.
And then the other layers are just...
cheaper wood.
Made up, cheaper wood. However laminate flooring works, I don't actually know. One decision, let us know in the comments. Do we put the TV and the media stuff on this wall, which has the bedroom there, or do we put the TV and stuff on this wall? So where do we put the sofa? Here or on that side? Our initial plan and idea was to put the sofa here. So when you walk in, you have like an L-shaped sofa, little bit of a sofa desk stand thing, side table thing.
Side table, yeah.
Side table. And then, yeah, the original plan was to have an acoustic panelling kind of wall here, a bit of a feature wall. Going on to the last two rooms, this is our bathroom, which does smell very musty. A little bit musty. We do have a window, which obviously when we shower we can open. We've got a little fan up there to extract all of the air and moisture. Again, probably change this door.
Yeah.
I don't really know what our plans are for the bathroom.
I think it's long-term
Yeah.
change, but for now we live with it how it is.
Yeah, because ideally you'd probably rip out this bathtub.
I'd rip it
I
all
don't know
out.
why it's kind of got a curved shape in it. The toilet. Oh. I was going to say the flush doesn't work, but the flush now works.
That's literally the first time it's worked.
So God knows. At least we have a working toilet. We have, of course, already got the essentials. Toilet roll. Very, very necessary. This will be getting ripped off the wall, but yep, it came with the property. I hate this unit so much. I think it's disgusting.
It's so big, like
Yeah, I don't know why it's so
unnecessarily big.
It's unnecessarily big. So this is the bathroom. Pretty bog standard. Like I say, you could come in here, move in here tomorrow, which, to be honest, once we've done with the painting and stuff, we will move in here fairly quickly. Then the final room does also smell in here.
Maybe that'll be fine when the carpet's gone.
Is the bathroom. And I think that smell is coming... The bathroom? This is not the bathroom. The bedroom, the master bedroom. The bedroom is a good size. I don't know the exact measurements of this room. The entire flat, I think, is 60 square metres. Correct?
61, I think.
61, which is actually quite a good size for a one-bedroom flat. So there's loads of these little projects and things to do, which we're going to hopefully try and get done, I don't know, in the next couple of days. As everybody has told us, preparation is the key. So doing the prep and taking your time with it properly is going to give you the best finish. The plan in here will be to rip up the carpet, which is a shame because actually on this half it's not too bad, but when you go over here there's a stain which I'm sure you could get out. You guys are going to find out what we do to the flat as we do it. This is not a renovation project. This is just a tidy up, revamp. We literally have mould and fungi growing on the ceiling. It's our first ever home, which we are very excited about. Today is going to be the first day where we start to do some stuff inside here. So, before we crack on, there is one room that I'm still yet to show you. The secret room, aka the basement. And actually, to give you guys a little bit more context about this room, this was actually one of the kind of, not the key selling points, but it was a big selling point to us actually wanting to buy this flat. However, as always, there are a few problems with it. It's not very good, is it, when that is the first sign that you see? Here we have it, the basement to the entire building. And why this was such a selling point to us is because every single flat in this building actually comes with their own kind of basement / storage room. However, if I look on the ceiling, there is mould absolutely everywhere. When we first came to see the property, it was actually a lot worse than this, especially down the right hand side. On my left hand side here, I won't show you the specifics of what's in it, but you've got flat number 1 storage area, flat number 3 storage area. Up here we've got the cock stops, and then if you look up here, oh my god, there are literal mushrooms growing on the ceiling. So that is the big reason why this space down here is amazing, but it's also not so good because it's very damp, very moldy. And the one thing I'm concerned about, and to be honest, everybody else that owns a flat in this building is concerned about, is that if you actually put stuff down here, is it going to just rot and mold away? You can see as well on the wall here, I don't even want to touch it, but yeah, loads of mold and damp and things actually growing on the walls. When the Lord said, "Let there be light," Frodo Baggins. So, here we go. This is our basement area, flat number 4. This is best I can show you because the fluorescent bulb no longer exists. Can you believe that the guy that was living in this flat before used to have a gym down here? The mold and damp doesn't seem too bad. All of these walls are completely dry. This is all mold and bits of spores actually growing on this wall here, which I assume, or probably, it is the external wall. So my biggest concern is obviously keeping tools and keeping, I don't know, bedding and pillows and extra chairs for the flat, just using this room as a storage space and not wanting everything to be ruined. So I would love to get some advice on what would you guys do with this space, if anything. If you look outside our basement, again, there's just kind of mold spores all over the place. There is an option, I was thinking, that we could even plasterboard this entire room. But again, I don't know if it's pointless putting all of the time and money and energy into kind of making that a usable storage room when the rest of the space outside of our storage area is also pretty moldy and damp. I do know that the people living here before us had a quote to get this entire basement area tanked, and it was going to cost £50,000 per flat, which is not good or financially worth it whatsoever, because 50 grand to get this whole basement tanked is just ridiculous, and that's per flat, so that's 250 grand total. So there we have it, flat 4 in all its glory and all its growing mold. Over the coming weeks, you'll find out exactly how we transform this space and how I learned to be a decorator. We are having an absolute nightmare. Electrician. Oh. Plumber.
Will, we've got water coming out!
Stonemason. Oh dear. How am I going to get you in? And even a carpet fitter without any idea what the hell I'm actually doing.
Do you have any idea what you're talking about?
No. If you guys have enjoyed this video and you're excited to see what we get up to in renovating flat number 4, make sure to subscribe, give the video a like, and I'll catch you in the next video.